Here are 3 ways to improve your editing efficiency with simple visual organization techniques. And I've got some super helpful bonus tips for each one at the end. First one, label colors. I started using these a lot when I was working on docu-style footage, whether that was music tour documentary stuff or employee spotlights for corporate situations where I would get handed a drive full of footage that might have interviews and B-roll, random stuff, and was told to just make something or find the story. Now, I use these label colors all the time, no matter what I'm editing. You can mark good takes, bad takes, camera angles, set colors for certain subjects or speakers, mark VFX shots. You can also use label colors to keep track of feedback, marking shots that you might need to cut or replace later, or something like that. By default, you can find label colors by right-clicking a clip and finding this menu here, but that's not very efficient. What I like to do is go to keyboard shortcuts, search for label, and I set my number keys 1 through 8 to be my label colors. Then Control 1 through 8 for the extra ones. Now, this will overwrite the default shortcuts for switching multicam cameras. So if that's all you do, then maybe you bind these elsewhere, like the numpad. But for me, I'm not always doing multicam edits. So I just make sure to keep a separate version of my keyboard shortcuts made for multicam for when I need it. You can save your own shortcut layout here. Another thing you can do is go into Preferences, Labels, and here you can make some changes to fit your needs. You can see that Premiere has default colors for certain types of media. You can change those if you want. I usually just leave that. You can also select a variety of color scheme presets down here for your label colors. I typically like to start with the vibrant option. I like to make sure I have red as an option, which is great for marking things like bad takes. But yeah, customize this however you want. You can also save a preset once you've created these colors how you like. Now, with your shortcut set up, your colors picked, you're ready to rock. You can start making colors in the timeline. Now here's something else cool you can do with this. Now that you can set all these label colors, you can also make selections based on label color. So let's make a handful of these clips orange. Now right click, go to this label menu, select by label group. Boom, that comes in handy, and it also might be worth adding a keyboard shortcut for that. Next up, clip markers and sequence markers. You can use these in similar ways to label colors, but with some additional perks. Press M to add a marker. If you're selected on a clip, you'll add a clip marker. If you're not selected on anything, you'll add a sequence marker, and both have their uses. Press M again while over the top of your marker, and you can change the marker color, give it a title and description. You can even extend out the duration of the marker here so you can see a note in the timeline or on the clip. You can also make adjustments to the marker duration by holding Alt in the timeline and then clicking and dragging on the marker. But do note, you can't have in and out points set in the timeline when you do that. Otherwise, it just moves the in and out points instead of changing the duration of the marker. So these are great if you get some feedback and you want to keep track of that in the timeline. I might leave a marker in red with a note, and then later on as I'm going through fixing things, I'll change that to green. I also use these when I want to keep track of interview questions on a clip. It's a good way to just at a glance know what the subject is and what's being talked about while you're going through a huge interview clip. Here's a word of caution. Depending on your export settings, you'll actually export sequence markers along with your video, which means that if somebody imports your video into their editing software, they can see all of your little secret messages to yourself. So you might want to get rid of them at the end in a clean sequence. If you want to get rid of all of your sequence markers at once, you got to press Control, Shift, Alt, N. Mash all those modifiers plus N. Okay, method number 3. It seems so simple that it's silly, but renaming things. Specifically, what I like to do is bring in an adjustment layer or a transparent video. You can chop this up and use it to easily keep track of sections of your video, like intro, outro, different subjects. I use this so much that I have a keyboard shortcut bound for it. You can combine this with label colors for even more visual control. So on a complex editing project, these techniques can really help save you time in the long run. Some of them can take a little time to do at first, like putting the questions on interview clips, but if this is an edit that you might spend days, weeks, even months on, it's really gonna help you save time. Again, the point here is that you can look at a sequence and very easily find what you're looking for without having to watch this stuff. more than you already need to. All right, and with that, it's time for the bonus tips. Label colors. Did you make your own keyboard shortcuts? Here's where you can find those on your computer. You go into Documents, the Adobe folder, Premiere Pro, find the version number that you created this in. You'll see a profile with your computer profile name on it, and then there's a folder called Win. Go into that and you can see the keyboard shortcuts that you created. You can add these to a cloud drive, put them on a thumb drive, so you can use them other places that you're editing, or just keep them as a backup. And hint, lots of your presets are saved in here, so you might want to just save that whole profile folder somewhere. Okay, here's another great label tip. You won't need this all the time, but when you do, you'll be glad that you know it. You can change the label colors of clips and folders in the project panel as well, using the same keyboard shortcuts that you use for the timeline. There's also this toggle in the timeline that lets you switch between the timeline label colors and the project label colors. Let's say you learn that there's an issue on all of the clips from a particular camera. You can select those clips in the project panel, give them a label color that's different from everything else, then let's hit this toggle, and now there they are. I can select by label group, add a preset, delete them, whatever you need to do. Okay, here is a marker bonus tip. There's a marker window. You can open this up and then easily jump around to your various markers in the scene. It'll show both clip and sequence markers. You can also filter by label color. If you're selected on a clip, it will only show the clip markers. And a tip for your renamed adjustment layers. Having these horizontal ranges pre-established in your timeline makes it really easy to set in and out regions for those things. Maybe I just want to export the intro. I can select that adjustment layer, press / on the keyboard to set in and out points around the selection. Now I can render this, export this, whatever. Or maybe I need to swap subject 1 and subject 2 around. Let me select this title, and now I'll press the apostrophe key on the keyboard, and this will extract this section. I'll jump to where I need to go, press Ctrl-Shift-V to do a paste insert, and there we have it. Okay, thanks for sticking with me. I hope this was helpful for someone out there. If you have questions or feedback for me, please pop them in the comments.